Welcome to the No Name Brand Podcast. My name is Sashka Hanarapal, actress, singer, dancer, turned brand marketing, sales, and advertising strategist who brands your soul. And each week I bring you an inspiring person or message to help you discover your undergod, turn up your leadership notches, challenge the status quo, because you're fast and furious with a powerful message to share with the world. Thank you for taking time out with me today, and without further ado, let's get our creative and wisdom juices flowing. Welcome back, gorgeous souls, to this week's episode. I hope you're well and that you've been learning heaps over the past few weeks. So what do I have for you today? I have something in store, and I'm so glad that you asked. Our next guest knew from a young age that she just wanted to be happy. She wanted to be herself and impact living beings in her environment. Her career in biochemistry really assisted her in doing this. Not just her immediate environment, but probably many of us in our developing life changing, with all these life-changing inventions for our health. And as the universe would have it, what seems suddenly for us, but divine timing for the universe, our next guest was put at crossroads, and it was here that she had to make a life decision for her life. How she made those decisions and why is what we'll be finding out today. Please help me in welcoming Divya Parekh. Hello, Divya. I hope I pronounced your surname right.
You sure did. Hello, Sashka. Thank you so much for having me on your show.
Thank you so much for being here. Thank you. Had a little bit of a tech glitch, time differences, link not sent, but you're here, so I'm very, very happy to have you here. So tell us, how are you today and where are you in the world today?
Oh, I'm doing really well, and I'm in North Carolina, United States, enjoying the fall, autumn.
Oh, we've got winter. It was snowing today. So every single one of us has or have had a pivotal decision that we need to make in life that can propel us forward on our life's journey, yet not many will choose to fall forward out of fear, our comfort zone, fight or flight. These are things that just often hold us back. Your pivotal moment came when you saw how friends were being laid off in the pharmaceutical field in your company, and you felt relief, in inverted commas, that you still had your job. And this feeling of relief within someone else's pain kind of shook you up a bit. And it wasn't that you weren't impacting people or that you had a horrible job and colleagues, but that something was missing. And you made the decision to move towards business and career relationship coach. What was this missing piece in your life?
So I have to share with you. I've always thought that I've been a compassionate person, looking out for other people, helping them, because I had a wonderful hero in my life, and that was my dad. I saw my dad from my childhood giving to others very selflessly. I can't even say that I'm anywhere close to him. A beautiful person, never judging anybody, and just a wonderful hero in my life, my own hero. And when I was going through that experience, what I found was that I was looking out for myself, and there was that disconnect where I had this opinion that I'm really always thinking about others, and I found that that was not the truth. So when I had that self-revelation, what shook me up was that I had to be authentic, or make an effort to be an authentic person at all times. And it's, what happens is we're always working on it. At least as far as I'll say about myself, I'm a work in progress, just like a highway. Got good foundations, but just like a highway or a freeway, whatever you call it, needs maintenance at all times. And I'm sure when in Austria, you have some work going on, some construction going on, because I know on our highways, we always have something or the other going on. So I feel that I'm one of those highways that has got good foundation, good stance, but always need work in progress. So when that happened, the need for being authentic surfaced, and that's when I decided that what can I do to close that gap? And that was that, being in my own shoes, being in a career where I could define my structure. And as I could define my structure and who I could support, that really helped me out. And that was the reason I transitioned.
I love that. I love that. It's amazing how we have, I mean, I'm sure that you know, because you not only study but also implement NLP and other systems as well. But those, I say, small limiting beliefs that are in our lives, like that with your father and how you looked up to him and how he impacted your life. And then in your mind, you going, I'm thinking I'm doing this already. And then something like that comes along and it's not really actually what you thought it was. And it shakes you up. I love that. That's amazing. And then where you are now. So I love how the universe really knows and really has our back when it comes to having divine timing and letting us know, hey, it's time to go this way, babe. Which kind of brings me to my next question. Now, when you've been super exceptional at one area of your life in biochemistry in the pharmaceutical industry, and then you have the shakeup and it's moving to a different area, it's not always that we're exceptional in that area from the beginning. We have to start at the bottom again. And you refer to this kind of as your golden handcuffs that hold back our highest potential. And all we know is this one area that we're exceptional at, and venturing out into a new area would mean starting from the bottom. And many of us fear this. Why do you feel that this is so? And how do you help us combat this fear?
Mm-hmm. So one of the things to know is that fear is not bad. We have fear because it can guide us through a lot of different things. So for one example, fear helps us to stay on the right side of life. Fear helps us to avoid a lot of disasters. So for example, let's say if you're talking about addiction, if we were not fearful of the consequences of consuming too much alcohol, or if there was not fear around smoking, then we would say, oh, we don't give a hoot about what's going to happen to my body. I'm just going to go ahead and do the smoking. So it's about recognizing, is your fear limiting you or is your fear helping you succeed? So that's one of the first steps. One of the first steps is to find out, is it stopping you? Is it helping you or hurting you? And if you find that if it is hurting you, the first step is the awareness. Knowing that yes, you have the fear and it's okay. Every one of us has fears. It's not that courage is absence of fear. Courage is moving through the fear and coming out at the other end despite the presence of fear. So once you're aware of having that fear, the next step is acceptance. And a lot of people out there believe that acceptance is giving up. And what I say is acceptance is not giving up. As long as you accept, but you're tenacious and you're persistent in your endeavors to achieve your dreams and your goals, you will succeed. You'll be triumphant at the end of the day. And after you have accepted, the third step is to give yourself that compassion and love and room and have that celebration that you've taken the first step in moving forward. You have accepted, you're aware of it, and then you've accepted it. And once that compassion steps in, from the compassion, allow yourself to be vulnerable and give yourself compassion. So vulnerability and compassion goes hand in hand. And from there, the creativity originates. I will share with you that when I went through that step, what helped me was having a coach by my side. And the coach showed me how I could work through that transition phase. And what I found was that what I was going to learn in my coaching profession as a speaking profession, I was already doing that. I was speaking at a lot of different conferences, and I was connecting with people, whether people who were working in the trenches or people who were in the executive level. And I was able to support people. Now all I was doing was taking the skills and enhancing it, honing it. So none of your skill sets, your experiences are just something that, you put them on the side, or that you have to make a huge leap and start everything from the bottom. What you'll find is that if you sit down and if you go through the process and have a guide by your side, you'll find that you're able to transfer a lot of those skills and actually bring a new perspective to the new profession. And yes, it does not happen in a day. It's like going to school. You spend so many years going to high school, and even if Some of you may have not gone to college, but you've gone through the school of hard knocks and school of life to accumulate that experience and gather that wisdom. So nothing is overnight. It takes time to grow. And yet, you can transfer a lot of different skills from your previous career, from your previous experiences, and cut short the path to your new career or to your new transition. It does not just have to be career. It can be life-changing situations, whether it could be that you're coming out of a new old relationships and stepping into new relationship, or you're adopting a child, or you're connecting with a loved one who you have not spoken with in years, connecting with your friend, or connecting with a colleague. You may have an issue with a certain colleague or boss, but you're laying it down to the side and coming up with new creativity to handle the situation, even if you may be stepping into a new job or transitioning out to a new career.
I love that. Can you repeat that again, what you said in the beginning? So you fear either stops you or the other three things? I love that. I wanted to
definitely. So like I always say, first figure out whether fear is helping you or hurting you.
helping
So
or
it's bringing that awareness, bringing the mindfulness to it. And once you've brought the awareness, you step into mindfulness where you're not judging it. You are accepting of yourself. Because when you're able to accept yourself and give yourself that compassion and room to grow, you're able to step into your own vulnerability and say that it's okay, I'm a human being, I can make mistakes. And when you step into that zone of mindfulness, that's just an all-encompassing feeling and experience. You're able to be creative. You're able to build your competencies and take action.
I love that. I think it was important to repeat that because it's kind of like when you're in a moment, often we hear or read a lot about of fear or being in your comfort zone. And we forget like a 5-second rule type of thing where you can just remember these 3 steps. Is it holding me back? Is it stopping me? Is it helping me to move forward? So I think that's a little quick formula of something to move forward on when you're in a situation, which is why I wanted to thank you for repeating it.
Oh, absolutely. This time is for you and for your audience. So I'm happy to serve and support you in any way I can.
Oh, thank you. Speaking of like a quick 5-second rule system, do you have any, or did you create any signature systems in your own business? And was it immediate? Or not immediate as in, oh, look, I have a system immediately. Obviously it took a bit of time, but was the time frame shorter than most businesses where they only discover their signature programs over many, 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 many years?
So I was very fortunate because I had been in the biopharmaceutical career, I had been in the biochemistry, so I've always been very curious about neuroscience, emotions, and how could I improve and how could I support others. So I had actually come up with a rule which is called 3x24 rule. And I've got several signature systems as well. I mean, when I say several, it's like 2 or 3 signature systems that are in different areas. So I'd like to talk about the 2 of them. So one is 3x24 rule. And the reason I call it 24 is because, there are 24 hours in a day and it's easy to remember. So the first rule is 24 seconds. If you're thinking about a small decision and you don't know what to say, take a pause. And people don't mind if you take a pause. You're better off giving them the answer that will work for both of you rather than giving them an answer and then coming back and saying, oh, it's not going to work. So it could just be as simple as somebody invites you to a party in the evening and then you take a pause and you tell them that, let me just check my calendar, what's going on. And you check the calendar and you see that you have, the commitments. If you have the commitments, then you can easily say no. Now, the second one is 24 minutes. So now that could be for a decision that's a little bit more important. For example, let's say if you're an entrepreneur and you may have an hour in between your 2 different clients as you're coaching them, and then one of your clients reaches out to you and says that, I'm really anxious. I have an interview tomorrow. Can you coach me? And now you have this an hour in between, which you need to prepare for your workshop or something. So then what you can do is you can say that, hey, just wait, let me get back to you. And then you can assess the situation correctly, whether you're already prepared or whether you're not, whether you can give them the time or not. Because if you are not with your client, you're not going to be able to support them in the full measure that they need for their interview tomorrow. So yes, it's urgent. And then what you can find is you can find another alternative options where you can reach out to them and say that, you know what, this workshop is really important. I'm working with 10 people. However, I will be done by 7 p.m. in the evening. Are you free around 8 p.m.? And then I'll be present in the moment. You'll have my full attention and I can give you my all. So that 24 minutes allows you to come with the presence of mind that allows you to give the best to all the situations, and sometimes you can come up with creative solutions and creative alternatives. And then third could be something very critical on which you don't have to make the decision straight away. It could be, let's say your child is asking you that they want to sign up for a travel team, and then you have to make sure that you're able to take your son or daughter to that travel team, because now you're committing to so many weekends in a row. You have to also see whether your child's ready for that. You have to also see whether your family's situation, whether it's financial or whether it's time-wise, whether you're able to accommodate. So sleep on it. Or similarly, if you're at work and somebody gives you an opportunity and it seems really good, that opportunity for the next job is so fantastic that you're like, oh, I want to say yes immediately, but you have not sat down and walked through it rationally. So for those kind of things, if you give it 24 hours, if you sleep on it, look at different pros and cons, it's going to help you in the long run. So that's one of the first rules I always share with my clients. And the second thing I can share with you, since respecting your time and respecting your audience's time, is my book, The Entrepreneur's Garden, which is a prelude to my signature system of the 9 relationships, where I talk about how whether you're a leader, achiever, an entrepreneur, then you have these 9 relationships in order. Life is really beautiful. And the thing is that most of the people are good in 3 to 4 relationships, and what they can do is they can work in the other relationships and kind of have the balance and live beautifully.
I love that. I just had to make a decision recently. We're getting a puppy, something really odd. And it's taken me 5 years to make the decision, although we've been looking into it for really long. But to really make the decision, we went and saw a puppy on Friday, and then I had to make a decision, do I take it or not? And that was also, I was like, I need to sleep. I need 24 hours. I just need to rest my brain and all the emotions and then just go through it, and then was able then to make my decision. And making it in that stress situation, it wouldn't have been a good place to be. So I'm glad that I'm able now to just go, I need to breathe. I need to breathe first. Whereas before I was impulse decisions. Although I'm still very impulsive, but still, I still go with a lot of impulsive decisions. Oh, man. So when making decisions, we tend to view results or possibilities only on a vertical perspective. In other words, how high can we go? Forgetting that we can also expand horizontally. What in your experience were horizontal possibilities that weren't found in vertical directions and vice versa?
To me, there is no one set thing. The key is what suits you and what works for you.
Yeah.
The important thing is to look at it from all different perspectives. And when you look at all different perspectives, then you find what's going to work for you. Look at it emotionally wise, you look at your rationally, and then you bring in all the different areas of your life into perspective and figure it out. Things tend to work for you.
You have a very interesting take on taking on clients that are interested versus invested. Would you mind sharing this with us, like what the difference is for you?
Good Could you expand on that question a little bit more?
Yeah. When you take on clients, you prefer to have them where they've invested in themselves rather than just interested in working with you? Yep.
So the reason I say that is because I believe in making a difference, and I'm very sincere about the fact that, I want a success story in my hand. And it's the two things, we can take an example of either you're renting an apartment or you're buying a condo or buying a house. So usually you'll find that if people purchase a house, if they are really invested in that, they're going to paint the house, they will make sure they keep the lawn really good or at least do some work around it. They will make sure that they're treating the house properly. And it's the same thing that when you are just interested or when you're renting an apartment, you may not be as sincere in your appreciation of the dwelling that you are residing in, or you may not be able to have that same interest. So it's similar analogy, and we can take in another analogies, like the difference being when you are dating someone and when you're married to someone.
Mm.
So it's the same difference for an individual too. If you're just interested, you'll do some stuff, you'll take actions, but then there will be a lot of things that you'll be like, okay, I don't have time, I cannot do this. And you're more apt to letting things slide than when you're invested. When you're invested, the key is then when you're ready. Yes, I know that failure is an option, and that's one of the key things to know, that failure is an option, and it should be an option, because if failure is not an option, you cannot learn and move forward.
Mm.
So invested does not mean that you'll not fail. Invested does not mean that you'll succeed overnight. Invested does not mean that you're not going to move forward. You're not going to have the joy and happiness. Invested means is that your focus, your commitment is there, right there for yourself. And if you are not your best champion, then who else is going to be?
I love that. Speaking of being your own champion, when you first started off your business, did it just take off like a bomb? Or did it need some time? And how did you feel? And obviously there was some where you failed miserably. We all do. And how did you rise above it? What was your first experiences? Share with us, because I always say an overnight success takes 20 years. It doesn't just happen like literally overnight. It takes that amount of time. How was it when you first started your business?
When I first started, there were several mistakes. So, for example, I and my friend were doing a workshop, and we did mass mailing, and we were very thrilled. We thought that we were going to have a huge turnout.
Oh, cool.
So that's just one of the examples I can share. We made a lot of mistakes, and one of the things that I learned was to get a coach. And that was the best part, and creating a support system, having an accountability partner.
Yeah.
So yes, Steph failed miserably at several things, but rather than keeping on making the same mistakes over and over again, as I got the coach, it really supported me and it helped my business grow steadily. And always, like I said, it's work in progress. You're continuously working on it. You're successful, and yet to sustain that success, you have to put in the work. If you love what you do and you do what you love, then it's not work, it's fun. It's enjoyable, and then it's almost like having a holiday throughout your life.
I like that. Having a holiday throughout your life. I like that. Oh, we good work. Yay! So when you started your business, was it immediately with speaking and coaching, or just one or the other, and then it gradually moved towards speaking? And how did you build your authority in speaking and being able to speak everywhere?
Well, the way it happened out was I created a transition plan while I was still in pharmaceuticals. So it was almost a 4 to 5 year transition plan. And while I was in pharmaceuticals, I had already spoken at several conferences. And when you're speaking to a tough crowd of scientists, engineers, the transition from speaking to them to entrepreneurs and leaders, where you're getting them excited about their lives and passing on the motivation, is much, much easier. And at least it's for me. I'm not speaking for anyone else. And it was a lot of fun. So and everything was gradual. You work through it, you connect with the right people, and then you keep building on it. It's a journey, not a destination.
Yep, yep. What was it like speaking to scientists versus entrepreneurs? What was the energy like? What were the people like? I mean, not what the people were like, because everyone's different, but what was the energy like?
Surprisingly, the energy is the same because it's just a different type of energy. When it's in science and they're there to make a difference. They are there to look at things differently. And that again comes back to mindfulness, is when you're present in the moment and when you're looking and accepting things without judgment, you enjoy it regardless where you are.
That's so true. And what made you decide on life coaching and business and career, relationship coaching from pharmaceutical? It's quite a jump. Pharmaceutical business.
Well, that was because people are the common thread in my life from the beginning. Even when I was an associate professor, I was able to connect with students, help them go from I can't to I can, and I did it. And it was the same in pharmaceuticals and research lab in my career as a scientist, and different aspects of pharmaceutical industry, biotech industry. It was, you ultimately work with people, and people are people anywhere. And as I transitioned out and as I did soul searching with the help of my coach, I was able to figure out that that was the area I wanted to work in, support people and have that instant connection and see that transition of transformation in their lives and having this joy of helping somebody else.
You mentioned before you're like a highway, or most of us are, that need maintenance. Do you still hire a coach or an accountability partner at the stage and phases that you are in your life now?
Oh yeah, I've got two.
Awesome. Oh, that's awesome. What kind of coaches?
Well, one I have is a business coach, and one is, how would I call, all coach,
Cool.
that
All in one.
mirror coach. I would say I've
Oh,
got several coaches, as a matter of fact, and I call it as mirror coaches because mirror coaches, mirror friends are those who will tell you as they see it, without sugarcoating it, without anything, because that's so important that you see yourself as others see you. It opens up so many different perspectives, and it opens up this immense opportunity for growth. And when you grow, you're able to support your clients because now you're able to pass on that perspective. And of course, you're having these beautiful realizations and aha moments in which you just grow by leaps and bounds.
The best way to grow, leaps and bounds. I love it. You have so much fun. It's like jumping in Alice in Wonderland and all those puffy mushrooms. You just go from one to the next. Boom, boom, leaps and bounds. Well, what is your biggest passion when working with leaders and entrepreneurs?
My biggest passion is to have them step into their own joy.
And for everyone, their own joy is always different as well, from a different perspective.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Which leaders inspire you? And I say inspire because motivate kind of deflates after a while, and inspiration tends to, in my opinion, last longer. It's got more of a hold on you and gives you a little bit more fire.
Absolutely. So leaders, when we're talking about leaders, I'm inspired by leaders who have passed away. I'm inspired by leaders who are still present. I'm inspired by day-to-day leaders in my life. I'm inspired by nature. I find inspiration throughout the day. I get inspired by children. I get inspired by kids, underserved kids that I mentor. So inspiration is everywhere. As long as you look for it, you'll find it.
Yep, that's true. You mentioned you work with kids as well?
No, actually, that's my part of my giving back and volunteering, where I work with underserved kids.
Wow, that's amazing. In South Carolina?
In North Carolina.
North Carolina, sorry.
Oh, that's okay. It doesn't matter.
So, I would love to know, what are your superpowers?
My superpowers, I will say there are quite a few.
That's good.
In my perspective, like one of the first ones I'll share is the mindfulness. The second one is now power. Third is the relationships.
Cool.
Fourth is my book writing power.
Oh, wow. Did you always want to write?
Yes, it was a childhood dream. I would like to write poems, and then it kind of went away, and then it came back.
That's so cool. Divya, we're nearing the end of this interview. Time can really go very fast sometimes. And I have a question that I ask all my guests at the end of the interview. And one of them being, how do you want to change the world or challenge the world doing what you do?
I will ask for a simple challenge, a small challenge. Every single day, do one kind act. Even if it is as small as giving somebody a smile. Because there are statistics that show that children smile anywhere between 350 to more than 400 times a day, and adults only smile 20 to 30 times a day.
Wow.
So that's my simple, short and sweet challenge. Open the door for somebody, let somebody in the traffic, give a smile to the cashier when you are purchasing your groceries. Simple things. Challenge yourself to do that, and challenge yourself to be compassionate towards yourself as well.
That's one of the most important ones, because when your cup's empty, you can't serve anyone like that. If you can fill in the blank for the following 3 values, my values, creativity for you is?
Creativity for me is meditating. And experiencing the silence, because out of silence comes a lot of emergence of thoughts and beautiful solutions.
That's interesting. I like that. Haven't heard that one before. Wisdom for you is?
Learning and being open.
Like that. Passion for you is?
Doing what I love to do anytime, day or night.
I love that. Thank you, Divya, so much for being with us here today. Really enjoyed that. Nice, mindful, deep work, deep questions and answers as well to mull over. I really, really enjoyed. Thank you so much for taking up and joining us here today and sharing with us your creativity, wisdom, and passion, and helping us change the world a little bit just by smiling. If you could see me, I'm smiling.
And Sashka, thank you for asking such beautiful, in-depth questions. I enjoyed our conversation and sharing, and hoping that your audience will take away a few things and implement in their lives. So thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. I'm sure everyone will take with. And we'll see each other again next week and hear each other again from each other next week. Have an awesome week further. Speak to you soon. Bye-bye. Dang, that was just supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. I enjoyed having you on board, and please do me and you a favor. Head on over to iTunes, SoundCloud, or Stitcher. Click subscribe, and a super bonus, leave your review and you stand a chance of being announced and advertised on the show. I'm always striving to ensure that your brand is uplifted and empowered. Remember, done is better than perfect. So be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and send in your feedback too. You're the absolute best. Keep rocking.